money.
Well, I'd like to say something regarding that.
Okay, thanks.
I contacted the Office of Consumer Advocates. They've called back 3 times. I was waiting and still haven't received a letter from the water company. Don, did you perhaps get that letter yet?
No, I was assured he would get me a letter of probable cost for...
Can you please contact him tomorrow?
Okay.
I'm told that Bob Bednar doesn't need water. I'm told that the distance, in fact I have a map, but I wanted to have a meeting with all of you, that the distance between the 10 or 11 homes that are right at Route 50, and then from there on it's perhaps over a half mile, thousands of feet.
It can't come in from 980?
From 980, I'm waiting for a letter from the water company that Don is supposed to be getting, that yeah, they could come in from anywhere, but there's nothing on 980 except a Timber Run or at Route 50.
I know they'd never come under the tunnel, I'm
Under
sure
the
they
tunnel,
would.
right. And Timber Run is how far from Coleman Road?
I asked the processing guys,
mile.
they don't need water.
I'd say it's probably a mile.
A mile?
At least it's more than a mile.
You mean
So-
from Timber?
From the entrance to Timber Run to
Yeah,
Coleman Road.
we're
It's
probably
only
close
a mile and a
to
half.
a mile and a half.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do from there.
Well, I just can't see you paving the
I
road and just putting water
understand,
in,
but
so that's
that
my
road
big
is so
issue.
horrible, I don't know what to do. That was my whole idea.
I
is to get
understand,
water
and I
for you,
appreciate it.
And I don't know what we can do
Maybe
about
you're
it.
tar and chipping, I don't know, but it just makes me insane. I see this in Canonsburg when they just did that. It's just a sin what we do with our roads and our
Yeah, it's a waste.
organization
Tar
of
and
getting
chipping
things
is a waste.
done. It is.
No, that's not her point. Her point is to be ashamed to put on new pavement down and dig it up the next year.
Well, I don't know that there's a possibility of getting water. I know, what end do you live at?
Well, you could tar and chip us, I guess, I don't know.
What end
Maybe
do
you
you
would
live
have.
at?
They told me years ago they'd do it, but it'd be $10,000 a person.
Well, that started out on 980 at 13,000. And we got it down to, I think, 3,000 or 4,000. And then we contacted the OCA, that's the Office of Consumer Advocates, and we actually paid $25 tap-in fee, and that was it.
And the reason,
980, Vincennes Road and Swihart Road.
excuse me, Elizabeth, and the reason for that was, remember when Western Center closed and all the patients were put out in group homes, and Coomer's property was one of the group homes.
Yeah,
and on Coomer Road didn't have water. Coomer Road got water because of the Western Center closure, and then they had to come up 980 to get it. And that's the reason why we along 980 got that water, because it went from there up to Swihart, or Vincetti, and then Vincetti across.
It did not go along Coomer Road.
Pardon me?
It did not go along Coleman Road. I believe Coleman Road came in from East Bishop Road. Do you know, Tom? That's not the only thing that it only went to Glass Hill Road, and then it went down Glass Hill Road for Bob Mikulski, and that was as far as it went.
But that was the reason why. That was the reason why, and I could remember when Joey Gasvoda was the one that was fighting for the water all along. And then nobody would go in with it because it was going to cost more than what your property was worth. Right.
Started out at $13,000.
And when Western Center closed, that's when everybody jumped on the bandwagon and said, wait a minute, if they can bring water into a group home, they can bring water up 980 for all the people along 980. And all we had was a tap-in fee. Right, because...
That they're not going to bring water then to 980 because there's no reason? I guess I'm not...
No, 980 where I live, we got water.
No, I mean where...
No,
Oh.
I don't look for us ever to get water, to be honest with you, with that cost. And unless the processing plant would have needed water, and he told me they don't, so.
Is there a possibility they might run water if that compressor station goes through?
That's what she just said.
That's what I meant. For the compressor, I don't know why it's the same processing, I guess. No, they don't need water, they told me that. I asked them. Oh, no, he told me they don't need water.
They don't...
All right, anyhow, but our motion is to authorize Gateway to solicit bids for stormwater.
I mean, along her point, does it make sense if they're considering water to be drainage and then to not feed it, if for some reason they are able to get water.
The drainage will still save some of the road that's there.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep getting wet, bad spots if we don't take.
I have a question
Do
for
the
Jen.
drainage, we need the drainage. If we have a really bad spot on the right-hand side there, that I
We're
can
gonna have more walls to fix if we don't get that water out.
Dan, on Coleman, there are some narrow sections where the drainage is going to be. My concern is some of the heavier traffic that's on Coleman Road and how it could adversely affect some of the drainage. We've all seen parts of the township, everywhere really, where heavy traffic is ruining the storm sewer systems. Do we have any concerns about some of the heavy traffic and the amount of weight that's going on this road?
No, we would specify the storm sewers to be deep enough and to be backfilled with the appropriate aggregate backfill to bridge any weight of weight of trucks. You wouldn't expect any impact to that if it's installed properly, TJ. If we go to modern standards, the problem with our current roads is the pipes are basically right underneath the pavement, and that's why they fail.
Okay, thank you.
One other question too, Dan. While we're talking about doing the drainage this winter, you would still be able to leave the road open because it is a school bus route?
Sure,
There'd still be in areas that
work and flag.
might be narrowed down to one lane, but they still would not shut down, correct?
That's correct.
I mentioned to you that Joe Seitz might want to put together a graph for us to show us how much we've actually spent so far and where we're going in the future with it and stuff, so we can
have something
kind of show the residents where. So we might have it next month or so.
Yes, we do.
That'd be great. That was one of the suggestions that was given to us.
So there's a motion.
We have a motion and a second to authorize you with solicit bids for that stormwater project on Coleman. It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Okay, just a couple more small ones. There's been a leak at the post office in Lawrence for months and months and months, water pooling in the parking lot. Has it been resolved?
Yes, it has been. The water company told us it was not theirs.
What?
The water company kept telling us it was not their leak.
And it is?
It is their leak.
Have they fixed it?
They were supposed to. I don't know if they have or not. But just because there was a leak.
Yes.
Did they fix it, Bill? Okay, yeah. I mean, they were telling us for months and months, and we were going round and round, and I was talking with Blaine Volovich, and we were like, the township doesn't own water. It's, the way it's coming out, it's pressurized, and it ended up being a PAWC problem.
It was actually dry there 3 days, then it started raining, so, if you see water, it's
I
probably
think
rain.
someone said the day after they fixed it, it dried up like that,
Yes,
so
it's
that's,
like the
yeah,
hose was part of the
yeah,
roof.
that has been resolved then. Thanks, Bill.
Just a few more short ones. First of all, I want to thank whoever was responsible for putting in this ramp for me and the handrail. There's just one thing that needs to be added to it, and that's the handrail on the other side. It's fine going up, but I think it gets walked down by the handrail. So if you can put a handrail on the other side, I can work with that.
That one was one of a kind, too.
That was what?
You can't match it. That was one of a kind.
I don't know whether it matches it or not. Okay, I have one ordinance so far from the city of Pittsburgh on small animals, as in beekeeping, bees, goats, chickens, not roosters, and not billy goats. And I'm going to provide them to you, John, and I'll get some more for you very soon. I assume that we are going to discuss AED in executive session?
Yes.
Okay. Has anything been done about the LED lights in the park or around this building?
I think not this week, the following Wednesday, I have a meeting with First Energy about LED lighting, and hopefully I'll be able to bring you back some valuable information from that meeting.
Okay, well,
It'll also, it'll address streetlights as well, although I know that wasn't part of your question, but
here.
I'll have,
They're gonna talk about our property or just the LED, the benefits of LED in general? We know that.
well, we're talking about the benefits of LED in our park.
In our,
And now, it makes sense at our tennis courts and basketball courts because a lot of those ballasts are bad. We'd have to instead of a read, they have to change the entire head of that unit. Now, our parking lot is a little bit different. But
Can we get pricing on it?
yes, we'll get pricing and see how we're.
Parking lot and tennis courts
Right.
separate, it's two separate issues.
Right, I'll have everything priced out separately.
What about the camera for the lobby?
That's in.
What?
That's in.
It's in? It's in?
It's
Oh,
in.
that's wonderful. When did that happen? What
A month and a half ago.
what about the generator that's installed?
It's installed. We're still waiting for the gas hookup, but Greg Milner, has been working on that. He put the transfer switch in. It should be done within, if not by the end of this week, next week.
part of that was out of his control, but he's basically, he's ready to be done.
Okay. One more question. Our building loan pays off this year?
Yes, it
Did I
does.
miss the
Yeah.
same when it's paid off?
No, it does in 2015. I think
What, did we pay it yet?
no, it's November. Normally in November or December, it hits our books.
The mortgage burning party?
You can if you'd like, yes.
Yeah. Now you're talking.
Can I, are you done? Sorry.
Go, thank you.
Can I, while we're bringing up random stuff, can we have the temperature control in here unlocked? I was in a meeting, I forget why, and none of us were here except for me, and you weren't here, and I'm texting you, people were like sweating crazy. People need to be able to access that to adjust the temperature.
Okay.
Can't have a lock code on it.